In this video we're going to look at sales management. We start by posing the simple question, what is sales management? Well, it's all activities, processes and decisions involved in managing the sales function in an organization. So it's a very straightforward definition, a very easily understood definition. Sales management is simply trying to achieve the objectives set out by the sales team, by the marketing director and by the top management, and it tries to develop activities and processes and decisions in order to enable the business to make the sales necessary for its survival. That definition was put forward by Johnson and Marshall, 2003. The sales management involves all activities concerned with effective selling and the sales operation or department. So sales management cuts across everything that happens within the sales department to make sure that the sales department is efficiently run, that the staff are adequately trained, that the environment is conducive for the sale. So they're looking at all of the aspects of trying to generate sales for the product and ensuring that everything is right at their end so as to produce the sales that of course the organization needs to sustain itself. Sales management is an important function as it determines sales levels, which of course results in profits. So sales management it's the final stage in the process. There may be various processes involved in the product. It may be buying the product in and reselling it on, or it may be producing it, manufacturing it, it may be design, manufacture, but whatever it is, at the end of that process there is an interface between the organization and the customer, and it's the function of the sales management to make sure that everything is right on their side of that equation to enable them to get the sale. They need the sales because they need the sales revenue. The sales revenue will be in turn distributed throughout the organization, dispersed to various departments and to various budgets, but also generating the profit, which is the rationale for the business. The business has not been established to provide a service solely. It has been established perhaps to generate a profit. So to meet all of those obligations, sales are required, and that's why the sales team and sales management is so important. Effective management of sales helps the organization achieve their sales goal. If the sales management team are weak or have flaws or don't conduct themselves in an efficient manner, then the organization will not generate the sales, which, as I said earlier, the sales are crucial for the viability of the business. The following are some functions of sales management. First of all, there's sales planning, how to generate sales, to have promotions and to try and get customers interested in the product. So sales planning, it's a very important issue to ensure that the organization and that the product is seen as desirable in the minds of the customers and placed in front of the customers at every opportunity. Then we have sales reporting. There must be good reporting back from the sales team in the field. The sales team are the interface with the customers, and whatever the customers are saying to them should be reported back, because that will help the organization to tweak the product in a way in which they will find future sales even easier. The sales staff recruitment and management also needs to be handled. Not just recruiting sales staff, but ensuring that sales staff are suitable, that they have got personality traits that make them suitable for the task in which they're engaged, and also that the management structure within the sales department are run efficiently and reliably, and that the organization is presenting a good image to the customer. And what we mean by good image could be vague, depends on different time periods and in different locations, but it could be that they are very friendly, or they're very modern, or they're very conservative, or depends on what the product is and where the business is located. But the sales staff must fit in with that. And the sales structure, how is the department organized? Where are the tills, and where are the outlets? And if it's a sales team within a company selling a product to customers, perhaps they're working from the company base. How are they structured then? Are they structured to go out to specific areas and get to know specific customers? Or how exactly do the sales team operate? So having a good modus operandi is very important to ensure sales. Let's talk about sales planning for a moment. This involves formulating strategy and setting sales targets. Without a strategy, the sales team will not have direction. They must have a strategy. They must be aiming at something. They must have some target. It may be a certain number of sales per month, or it may be a certain type of sale. A certain product should be promoted at this time period, and another product in a different time period. It may be that the products have seasonality. Some are suitable for winter conditions, some are suitable for summer conditions. Depends. But there must be some strategy. There must be some indication of what is required of the sales team and what the sales team should be focusing in on. Sales planning is important as it provides direction for the sales department. And as I said, without direction, they are going to not work effectively. There must be coherence in the organization. There must be a clear plan from where they are currently to where they want to be. And the route should not just be indicated, but as I said earlier, the mechanism or the modus operandi should be specified. How are they going to achieve what they're aiming to achieve? What is the tactic? Sales managers are required to develop a sales plan document containing aims, strategic planning, environmental analysis, resources, and sales activities. And these items are important. These items should be contained within a sales plan. There should be an environmental analysis. There should be some analysis of the likely success of the product in the wider environment. For example, is the product safe to use? Does it enjoy a good reputation in the marketplace? What are the competitors are doing? What products are they offering? How do the products vary? What's the pricing structure? How does it compare with the competitors? How does it compare with the standard of living in the community? How sensitive are sales to changes in prices? As economists would say, what is the elasticity of demand? They must look at the resources that they've got to enable them to make the sales. So perhaps they need a travel budget, and perhaps they need some resources in terms of samples and perhaps even tablets and ways in which they can demonstrate videos of the product and the use of the product, and there might be brochures required and printing. So all of this should be contained within the sales plan document. Sales planning allows the organization to respond rapidly to changing market conditions. So the sales plan is not immutable. It can be varied, and as circumstances change, it can be modified. But there is still a plan. there is still a direction for the sales team to follow, and that is crucial. Otherwise, they're going to work at cross purpose, they're going to trip each other up, they're not going to be consistent in what they're saying, the way they're presenting the product, the way they're presenting themselves. There must be a plan to give coherence to the whole activity. Research and identify target markets. Assessment of demand for products and services. Provide products at the right time, the right place, to the end customer. So it's important to identify the target markets, not just go out into the wide world and hope to meet someone, but the targets should be identified, and the connection points, that interface, as I said earlier, where do they meet the customers? Where's the territory? Where do they meet? And what do the customers expect and want? And what is the difference between the expectations of the customers on the one side and the expectation of the business on the other side? And how can that be bridged? So it's meeting the customers, providing the products at the right time, in the right place, and ensuring that there is satisfaction with the product so that there is the likelihood of future sales. Now, sales reporting, well, this concerns key performance indicators for the sales force. So in other words, there must be benchmarking. They must be able to gauge how well they're doing compared to, say, last month or last year. Or they may be able to compare their performance with those of their competitors. Now, it may be difficult to get that information from the competitors, but it can sometimes be picked up by proxy, by looking at the prosperity or the apparent prosperity of the competitors to see if they're doing well or not. Sales reporting is important. It ensures strategies are implemented and followed through efficiently. So sales reporting is important. Getting the information back so it can be analyzed, checked, recommendations brought forward, plans amended, so that they're becoming more and more efficient at working in the field and working with the customers. So reporting back is an important source of information for the sales management team, who can then tweak the future performance of the team in the context of customers and where customers are likely to be found. Reporting requires continuous monitoring, performance review, sales force management, and allows the organization to assess current and future potential. So it's continuous monitoring. It's not just waiting for the sales team to report back once a month or whatever. This should be continuous. There should be continuous updates from the team so that the sales management team are able to tweak what they're recommending and any changes. And also it controls what the rest of the sales team are doing so that they're not wasting resources. The resources are being spent wisely in areas where they are more likely to make sales. Now, recruitment and staff management. Well, sales management is responsible for the effective management of the sales force. It goes without saying. The sales management team must look after the sales force. But there are many aspects of looking after the sales force. The department must have measures in place to manage the sales force, motivate them, and reward them efficiently and effectively for their efforts. The rewards should come through rapidly so that the sales team can feel that there has been a connection between their activities and their rewards, and they're motivated. Motivation doesn't have to be monetary. It could be praise. It could be the access to motor vehicles or access to equipment that they've been asking for. They're motivated because they feel they are respected and they are recognized for their contribution. But it could also be, of course, monetary, and people do need money to pay their own personal bills, so money is important. So rewards can be monetary or they could be non-monetary. But the sales management must also meet employment legislation. It must also be the case that they look after the employees and pay a pension and make sure that the health and safety issues are properly addressed and that they're being reasonable about the hours they're expecting the team to work, and they have flexibility and they're able to look after employees in terms of diversity and maternity leave, and they're able to accommodate the sales force, because the sales force are people and people have requirements, not just the organization. So the sales management team must be able to balance all of these various requirements. They must also be careful at the recruitment stage to select the right people. There must be some assessment of personality and background and their ability to relate to people. How sociable are they, and if they're able to speak confidently and they understand the issues and they seem to be trustworthy. If that's the case, then they are good prospects for employment. But at the selection process, the sales management team should have an input with the HR, with the human resource department, and with perhaps senior management. But it's important that the right personnel are recruited. And as I said earlier, employee welfare, I mentioned it earlier in the context of legislation, but equality, diversity, gender, hours worked, holiday entitlement, sick leave, paternity and maternity. All of these are real issues, and the sales management team should have a way of dealing with them. And of course, performance management, which overlaps with recruitment and selection procedures. Performance management is looking at how well the team are operating and what can be done in terms of training to improve efficiency, and making sure that realistic targets are being set, not unrealistic ones which may frustrate the team because they can never achieve it. They're not being realistic. But realistic targets are set, and when they've been achieved, they should be recognized and perhaps rewarded. Now, the sales structure. Well, sales managers must apply appropriate sales structures which will enable the organization to achieve their sales targets. It's important that there are sales structures in place, that, in other words, the team have a place to meet. They have, in a sense, a home within the business where they're able to meet, plan, discuss, iron out issues, work out tactics, able to pass comments about their performance and their experiences, which may help other members of the team achieve their targets. And the team itself should be structured in a way that's fair but also transparent. And the prospects for promotion should be there for members of the team to achieve, should they fit the requirements. So there are incentives for the team to participate and to share information, not hold it back, trying to score points at their colleagues' expense. They should share the information, and in sharing it, they themselves are scoring points. They themselves are being recognized as good team players. So the sales structure must be carefully assessed. For example, how does the sales team work? Do they work geographically? Is it the case that some members of the team take one area of the country, and another takes a different area. Some takes one city, the other takes a different city. How's it worked out? Is it worked out geographically? And is it fair? After all, if a member of the team has got a city to look after in terms of sales, then the customers are likely to be clustered in the city, so travel and contacts are more conveniently done. Whereas if another member of staff are given a wide area, geographic area, they may have a lot of travelling to do. So there are many issues involved in just deciding to carve up the country geographically. It may also be the case, of course, now because of globalization, that we're talking about different countries. But whatever it is, there should be fairness in the system, and it should be obvious to everyone within the sales team that there is fairness factored in. It could be product and customer based structure. So it could be that members of the team don't look to particular geographic areas, but they look to the product. So some members of the team deal with one product, other members of the team deal with a different product, and they deal with it for the entire market. They are specialists in that product. And it's particularly important if the product is sophisticated and complicated, that they have an expertise in the product. They know how to use the product, how to solve problems, how to address issues and answer questions should the customers pose questions. They are experts in that product. And that's a possibility. It could be a matrix structure. It could be that there are various products, and all the team, the members of the sales team, each have a knowledge of all of the products and are able to at least start the sales process. Perhaps at other stages they want to collaborate with more specialist members of the team who have particular knowledge of that particular product. But the matrix structure is one that's widely used. It means that every member of the team, in a sense, knows every product, and they're able to skip between products. But as I said, in order to get a sale, if it's a particularly complex product, say a mechanical or electrical product, or one that uses processing power or whatever, then it may be the case that they have to agree to hand over to specialists. So they will take the sales part of the way. The matrix structure may be used at an early stage in the process, in other words, and then hand it over to specialists who will take it to completion. Could be a functional structure. It could be simply that different members of the team, the sales team, look at particular products and look at the development of products within that category. So they're looking at household products. That's all they'll look at, household products. Other members of the team may look at garden products. Other members of the team may look at products related to study and student requirements. Other members of the team may look at different aspects of the product range. So it could be based on functional. What does the product do? And how should the sales team relate to that particular function? But it could be any one of those, and it's worth spending some time thinking about the ways in which these structures can be worked out. Now, the impact of technology. Well, technology has played an important role in the sales management environment. As we know, now members of the sales team who go into the field to meet customers can bring with them electronic catalogues. They have online facilities. They're able to access databases to know what's in stock and the prices and what discounts are available and delivery dates. There's much more technology involved in the sales process now than ever, and it's likely to continue and even expand further. The use of technology allows the sales team to effectively collaborate despite geographic barriers. So the teams may be in contact with each other. They know exactly what each other is doing, where they're located, what they're up to. And it's also the case that a member of the team is not isolated. They're not waiting to get back to the office to find out the answer, to then communicate that answer to the customer or the potential customer. They may be able to send a quick text to their superiors and ask the question directly and get a response back almost immediately, so the customer does not have to wait. So they can use all sorts. They may use Skype, but there are many alternatives to Skype, but that's one. Just simply able to Skype the customer, talk to the customer face to face. Particularly useful if there's large geographic areas to be covered. But they're also able to Skype the office, and not just to show themselves on the screen, but to show documents and to show the product and show issues associated with the product. Perhaps a product is broken in a certain way. They're able to show it on the screen and ask for advice from the technical staff. So a useful piece of software. But there could be video conferencing, which is slightly different to Skype. Skype tends to be more one-to-one. Video conferencing is when the whole team, who are perhaps in different parts of the country or in different countries, are able to get together at one moment in time and able to talk to each other and see each other and discuss issues and discuss changes to plans or changes to products or prices or whatever it is. But they're able to deal with each other effectively, electronically. There are lots of tablet devices. They're changing by the day. They're becoming ever more sophisticated, more powerful, and more convenient, because it's not a question of carrying a laptop. It's a question of carrying something which is the size of a small book, and yet is able to perform an immense processing capability. So, tablet devices. And of course there could be online training courses for the sales team that they're able to perhaps have experts from different countries. Perhaps if the organization has a parent company overseas, then the sales team and the overseas office are able to implement training programs through video conferencing and through the use of videos, and all sorts of possibilities arise to ensure that the sales team are adequately trained and they've got support and backup. They are not isolated. Now the source, that's the one I mentioned earlier, and that's all we're going to deal with here. It's quite a long video, so it's well worthwhile going back over it, stopping it from time to time, making your own notes, and looking it over again. But that's what we're going to deal with here, so let's leave it at that and say thank you for watching.